Deep within the emerald heart of the tropical forest, where sunlight filters through tangled vines and the air hums with the calls of distant birds, a society of long-tailed macaques thrives. Here, in this vibrant, ever-shifting world, the rules of survival are written in the rustle of leaves and the watchful eyes of predators. In most macaque families, the bond between mother and infant is a tapestry woven from constant touch, gentle grooming, and the soft reassurance of a mother's arms. The jungle is a place of both beauty and danger, and for most, the safest place for a newborn is pressed tightly against its mother's chest. A mother's embrace is a sanctuary, her body a living shield and a source of warmth, nourishment, and comfort. In the dappled shade, infants cling to their mothers as they leap from branch to branch, learning the rhythm of the forest through the steady beat of her heart. Yet among these mothers, one stands apart. Her name is Button. With a keen gaze and a posture that radiates both strength and intention, Button is a mother who defies the expectations of her kind. Her approach to motherhood is as unique as the patterns of sunlight on the forest floor. Button's method is not one of neglect, but of careful, deliberate guidance. She watches her infant from a short distance, her eyes never straying far, but her arms rarely reaching out unless truly needed. Each movement is calculated, each pause a lesson in patience and self-discovery. With a stern but loving presence, Button encourages her baby to explore, to stumble, and to rise again. Her gaze is unwavering, her posture alert, as if she is both teacher and sentinel, shaping her child's destiny with every decision. In the tangled undergrowth, Button's baby faces challenges that would make other mothers rush to comfort. A low branch to climb, a patch of slippery moss, a tangle of vines, each obstacle is met with encouragement, not rescue. Button's philosophy is simple. Strength is born from struggle, and every small victory is a step toward independence. While other mothers cradle their infants, carrying them from tree to tree, Button's baby is often seen toddling behind, tiny hands grasping at bark, feet slipping and catching on the uneven ground. The contrast is striking. Where others offer constant comfort, Button offers opportunity. Each day in Button's world is a lesson. The forest is her classroom, and every fallen branch, every rustling shadow, is a teaching tool. She guides her baby through the maze of roots and leaves, sometimes with a gentle nudge, sometimes with a patient wait, always with a purpose. Button knows the dangers that lurk in the shadows, the sudden swoop of a raptor, the slither of a snake, the challenge of a rival troop. She prepares her child not by shielding it from these realities, but by teaching it to face them with courage and skill. From the very first, Button encourages her baby to walk on its own, to feel the earth beneath its feet, to sense the subtle tremors of the forest floor. Each unsteady step is met with quiet pride, each stumble with a watchful eye. When her baby becomes tangled in a curtain of vines or struggles to reach a tempting fruit, Button does not intervene immediately. Instead, she waits, allowing her child to puzzle out solutions, to test its own strength and ingenuity. Comfort, in Button's world, is not a given. It is something to be earned through effort and persistence. When her baby seeks her out after a failed attempt, she offers a gentle nudge, a soft vocalization, and encourages another try. Only after genuine effort does she reward her infant with a treat or a moment of tender grooming. This is not Button's first time as a mother. Her methods have been honed through experience tested by the challenges of raising multiple offspring in a world where only the strong and clever survive. Her older children, now confident and capable, are living proof of her success. These young macaques move through the forest with a grace and assurance that sets them apart. They leap boldly from branch to branch, lead their peers in foraging expeditions, and face the unknown with steady nerves. Their confidence is a testament to Button's unconventional approach, a legacy of independence, resilience, and adaptability. In the filtered light of the jungle, Button's silhouette is a constant presence. She is both guardian and guide, shaping her child's future with every decision, every lesson, every moment of watchful patience. Her story is not just about a mother and her baby, but about the wisdom of the wild, a narrative written in the language of patience, challenge, and growth. In the world of the macaques, every family is different, but Buttons stands out as a beacon of innovation and strength. Watching Button with her newborn is like witnessing an artist at work. Each gesture is deliberate, each lesson carefully crafted. She grooms her baby not just for cleanliness, but as a reward for effort, reinforcing the connection between perseverance and comfort. She is never harsh, but she is never indulgent. Her corrections are gentle, her expectations clear. In her calm, measured way, she teaches her baby the rules of the forest and the skills needed to survive. Every interaction is purposeful, whether guiding her infant through a tricky climb or waiting patiently as it figures out a puzzle. Button's actions are always aimed at building another layer of strength and understanding. Through gentle nudges, patient silences, and the strategic use of reward, Button shapes her baby into more than just a survivor. She creates an explorer, curious, bold, and ready to meet the world on its own terms. In the vast green cathedral of the forest, Button's story unfolds, a testament to the power of unconventional wisdom and the enduring instinct to prepare the next generation for whatever challenges may come. Her legacy is written not in words, but in the confident steps of her children, echoing through the treetops long after the sun has set. In the dense, dappled light of the forest, most newborn primates spend their earliest days pressed tightly against their mother's fur, swaying gently with her every movement. They are passengers, their tiny hands gripping instinctively, their world limited to the warmth and rhythm of their mother's body as she navigates the tangled undergrowth and sunlit clearings. But for Button's infant, this period of passive travel is astonishingly brief. Just days after birth, while its limbs still tremble with inexperience and its movements are uncertain, Button begins a remarkable process. The forest floor, thick with fallen leaves and scattered twigs, becomes the classroom. The air is filled with the distant calls of other monkeys and the rustle of life all around, but Button's focus is unwavering. With deliberate care, Button interrupts a peaceful nursing session. She gently pries her infant's tiny fingers from her fur, cradles it for a moment, and then lowers it to the soft, uneven earth. The baby blinks, momentarily bewildered, as the familiar warmth of its mother is replaced by the cool touch of the ground. This is no accident. Button's actions are purposeful, the first step in a carefully orchestrated lesson. The infant sits momentarily frozen, surrounded by towering roots and shafts of sunlight. The world suddenly feels vast and unfamiliar. Button's message is clear. The time has come to explore, to move, to begin the journey of independence. Button steps away just far enough to create a gap, a small distance, but to the infant it feels immense. The baby's eyes widen, its arms stretch out, and a soft whimper escapes as it instinctively reaches for the comfort it has just lost. The space between them is both a challenge and an invitation. Driven by the deep need for warmth and security, the infant gathers its strength. Its tiny muscles quiver as it pushes against the earth, struggling to lift its body. The first attempt ends in a tumble, a soft thud cushioned by leaves. Undeterred, the baby tries again, each effort a little more determined. Each fall a lesson in balance and resilience. Button watches from her chosen spot, her eyes never leaving her child. She does not intervene, even as the baby falters. Her presence is a silent encouragement, her patience a lesson in itself. She knows that every struggle, every shaky attempt, is forging strength and coordination in her infant's growing body. When the baby finally manages a few unsteady steps and reaches her, Button welcomes it back with a gentle embrace and the comfort of nursing. This is not just a return to safety, it is a reward, a tangible connection between effort and comfort. The baby quickly learns that movement, no matter how clumsy, leads to the ultimate prize, the warmth and nourishment of its mother. This cycle repeats throughout the day. Button sets her baby down, moves away and waits. The infant struggles, stumbles, and finally succeeds, each time earning the comfort of her arms and the reward of milk. The lesson is clear and consistent. Effort brings reward, and independence is nurtured step by step. Button's strategy is both gentle and brilliant. She taps into her baby's most basic needs, using them to teach the skills that will one day mean the difference between survival and struggle. Every embrace, every nuzzle is both comfort and encouragement. All around them, other newborns remain nestled in their mother's fur, their muscles soft and untested. In stark contrast, Button's infant is already learning to balance, to coordinate its limbs, and to navigate the unpredictable terrain of the forest floor. Each wobbly step is a victory, each tumble a lesson. The baby learns to steady itself on uneven ground, to adjust its footing on rocks and roots, to trust its own growing strength. The forest, with all its challenges, becomes a playground and a teacher. These early lessons, repeated day after day, lay the foundation for a lifetime of agility and confidence. Button is not simply teaching her baby to walk, she is teaching it to face challenges, to persevere through difficulty, and to discover the rewards that come from effort and determination, one faltering step at a time. Among the many remarkable aspects of Button's unconventional parenting, her approach to teaching patience and endurance stands out as both subtle and profound. Button's method is not about harshness or neglect, but about guiding her infant through carefully orchestrated moments of gentle refusal and encouragement. Like all young monkeys, Button's baby expresses its needs with insistent cries and persistent gestures, tiny hands reaching, plaintive calls echoing through the trees, eyes fixed on its mother with hope and expectation. In many monkey families, a mother will respond instantly to these signals, scooping up her infant at the first sign of distress or offering milk at the faintest whimper. Button, however, pauses. When her baby, exhausted from a long walk, sits down and lifts its arms in a silent plea, she does not immediately comply. Instead, she watches, her gaze calm and steady, as if weighing the moment. With a gentle nudge, she encourages her infant to rise and continue. Sometimes she will walk a few steps ahead, glancing back to ensure her baby is following, but never straying too far. The baby, legs trembling with fatigue, hesitates. It looks to Button for reassurance, and she responds with a soft vocalization, a sound that is both comforting and motivating. Slowly the infant pushes itself up and resumes its journey, step by uncertain step. This is Button's lesson in patience. She does not rush her baby, nor does she give in to every demand. Instead, she creates space for her infant to struggle, to wait, and to try again. Over time, these small challenges build resilience. The baby learns that its mother's comfort is not always immediate, but it is always present, waiting at the end of effort, not the beginning. On one occasion, after a particularly long trek, the baby collapses onto the forest floor, panting and gazing up at Button with wide, pleading eyes. The mother sits nearby, close enough for the baby to feel her presence, but she does not move to pick it up. Instead, Button shifts her position, moving just a little further away. The baby, sensing the distance, gathers its strength and crawls toward her, inch by determined inch. Each time the infant pushes itself up, Button offers a soft chirp of encouragement. The baby's progress is slow, but with every attempt, its confidence grows. Sometimes, Button leads her baby through tangled undergrowth or across uneven ground. She waits patiently as the infant navigates roots and branches, never intervening unless true danger threatens. Only after the baby has overcome these obstacles does Button offer the ultimate comfort: nursing. The rhythm is clear: effort, then reward. If the baby tries to nurse before completing a task, Button gently turns away, her refusal firm but never harsh. The baby may protest, tugging at her fur or making plaintive noises, but Button remains consistent. She uses her hand to softly redirect the infant, signaling that the time for comfort has not yet arrived. This is not a punishment, but a lesson in waiting. The baby learns that patience is required and that rewards are earned through perseverance. When the baby finally completes its journey or overcomes a challenge, Button settles down and allows it to nurse. The relief and satisfaction are evident. The baby clings tightly, eyes closing in contentment, while Button gently grooms its fur. Through these repeated experiences, Button's baby learns that persistence brings comfort and that every small victory is met with warmth and care. The lesson is reinforced day after day. The baby becomes more determined, more willing to try again after a stumble, and more patient in the face of frustration. Soon the infant is seen climbing higher, running faster, and exploring its world with a newfound confidence. When it stumbles, it no longer cries out immediately, but pauses, gathers itself, and tries again. These skills are essential in the wild, where every day brings new challenges, finding food, escaping danger, and learning the complex rules of monkey society. Through her patient guidance and gentle refusals, Button gives her baby the greatest gift of all, the belief that it can endure, persist, and ultimately succeed on its own. The most compelling evidence for the effectiveness of Button's unique parenting style is not found in theory, but in the living proof of her previous offspring. This is Button's third child, and her two older children, now juveniles, are shining examples of her method's success. They move through the troop with a confidence and capability that is noticeably different from their peers. Having been taught independence from such a young age, they are bold explorers and proficient foragers, venturing into the unknown with a sense of purpose and curiosity that sets them apart. Their early days were not spent passively clinging to their mother's fur, but actively learning, testing their limits, strengthening their bodies, and building a mental map of their environment. This hands-on approach, though sometimes met with challenges and setbacks, has forged in them a resilience that is rare among their age group. There were moments when Button's children stumbled, struggled to keep up, or faced the daunting task of finding food on their own. Yet each challenge became a lesson, and each lesson a stepping stone towards self-sufficiency. This early investment in their education now pays dividends in their daily lives. Her second daughter, a young monkey named Babette, is a constant presence during the newborn's lessons. Babette's behavior offers a clear window into the long-term results of Button's tutelage. She is self-assured and capable, able to find her own food and navigate the complex social dynamics of the troop without constant maternal supervision. She walks sooner and clings less than other young monkeys, a direct result of the early independence she was taught. Babette's competence frees Button to dedicate her full attention to the intensive training of her new baby, creating a virtuous cycle where the success of one generation facilitates the education of the next. Compared to other young monkeys in the troop who were raised with more conventional coddling methods, Button's children stand out. They are less timid and more willing to venture out on their own, often leading the way when the troop explores new areas or faces unfamiliar challenges. This self-reliance is a crucial advantage. It means they are better equipped to find food resources that others might miss and are more adept at escaping danger because they rely on their own skills rather than solely on their mother's protection. In moments of sudden threat, like the shadow of a raptor overhead or the rustle of a predator in the undergrowth, Button's offspring react swiftly, climbing to safety or melting into the foliage with practiced ease. Button's method effectively fast-tracks her offspring's development, giving them a head start in the challenging game of survival. Her legacy is one of capability, a line of descendants who are uniquely prepared for the world. This legacy of strength is not just about physical prowess, it is also about psychological resilience. By allowing her infants to experience and overcome small struggles, Button builds their confidence, teaching them that setbacks are not failures but opportunities to grow. They learn that they are capable of solving problems and enduring hardship. Whether it's figuring out how to crack open a tough seed, braving a sudden downpour, or negotiating a dispute with a peer, Button's children approach each situation with determination and optimism. This learned optimism is invaluable. It shapes them into adults who are less likely to be deterred by obstacles and more likely to persevere in the face of adversity. The bold, independent nature of her older children is the ultimate validation of her methods, proving that her seemingly tough approach is, in fact, an act of profound and far-sighted love. Through every challenge, every moment of uncertainty, and every small triumph, Button's legacy grows, a testament to the power of unconventional parenting in the wild. Button understands that the world is not a uniform, predictable place. For a young monkey, every day brings a new set of challenges, and the landscape itself is a living, shifting puzzle to be solved. To truly prepare her infant for the unpredictable future, Button knows that its education must stretch far beyond the comfort of a single familiar patch of ground. The forest is a mosaic of textures, slopes, and obstacles, each demanding a different set of skills. A key part of her teaching is the intentional use of these diverse environments. The ground beneath their feet is never just a surface, it's a teacher, constantly shifting from soft moss to tangled roots, from slick mud to loose stones. Button will gently guide her newborn away from the safety of a grassy patch, leading it toward a stretch of loose sand or a path littered with pebbles and twisting roots. Each step is a lesson in adaptation. On uneven terrain, the infant must constantly adjust its balance, learning to distribute its weight and anticipate the shifting ground beneath its feet. Every rock and dip becomes a test of agility and problem-solving. In a patch of loose sand, the infant's tiny feet sink with each step. The ground gives way, forcing the baby to push harder, to find new ways to steady itself. The sand clings to its fur, and every movement is met with resistance. The baby stumbles, its legs splaying awkwardly as it tries to find purchase. It falls, sometimes face first, but each time it rises, its muscles remember the effort, and its mind learns the subtle art of regaining balance on an unstable surface. Button watches from a short distance, her eyes attentive, but her posture relaxed. She allows the sand to teach the lesson, knowing that struggle is part of growth. As the infant masters the shifting sand, it gains confidence. The sensation of grains slipping beneath its toes becomes familiar, and soon it moves with more certainty, ready for the next challenge. Button leads her baby over tangled roots and jagged rocks, where every step requires careful calculation. The infant learns to lift its feet higher, to grip with its toes, and to use its tail for balance. The lessons extend beyond the ground. Button introduces her infant to the full spectrum of the forest's challenges: slippery leaves, mossy logs, and sudden drops that demand quick reflexes. At the base of a large tree root, Button encourages her baby to climb the gentle incline. The infant hesitates, then reaches out, feeling the rough bark beneath its fingers. With each attempt, the young monkey learns to coordinate its limbs, to judge distances, and to trust its grip. These are the first steps toward mastering the vertical world of the trees. The infant experiments with shifting its weight, using both hands and feet to pull itself upward. It tests the stability of the root, learning to sense which surfaces will hold and which will give way. These are micro-lessons in physics and body mechanics, absorbed through direct, tactile experience. The forest floor becomes a classroom where every movement is a new discovery. Fallen logs become balance beams, rocks serve as stepping stones, and tangled vines offer opportunities to practice grip and swing. The world is a natural gymnasium, rich with opportunities for growth. By constantly changing the environment, Button ensures her infant never becomes complacent. Each new terrain is a fresh challenge, demanding creativity and resilience. She encourages her baby to move, to leap, to climb, and to crawl, training its brain to adapt and its body to respond with agility and strength. This adaptability is not just a skill, it is a vital survival trait. The ability to move confidently across any terrain can mean the difference between life and death. Whether crossing a muddy riverbank, scaling a rocky outcrop, or weaving through dense undergrowth, a monkey that has mastered varied terrains is better equipped to find food, escape danger, and thrive in the wild. Button's classroom has no walls. It stretches from the forest floor to the treetops, from sunlit clearings to shadowy thickets. Here, the curriculum is written in the language of earth, stone, and wood, teaching resilience, adaptability, and the art of survival with every step her infant takes. Among the many remarkable qualities of Button's parenting, perhaps the most compelling is her deep intuition for knowing when to hold back. In the wild, every day brings new challenges for a young monkey, and Button's approach is a masterclass in the art of minimal intervention. Picture a morning in the forest. Button's infant, still wobbly on its feet, attempts to cross a patch of tangled roots. The baby stumbles, its tiny hands grasping at the earth, legs splaying awkwardly. Instinctively, many mothers might rush to scoop up their struggling young, but Button remains seated a few feet away, her eyes never leaving her child. Instead of intervening, she simply watches. Her posture is relaxed, her face calm, but her attention is unwavering. This is not neglect, it is a silent message. I believe in you. The baby tries again, this time managing to pull itself upright. It wobbles, teeters, and falls once more. Button's only response is a slow blink, a subtle reassurance that there is no rush, no shame in failure. The forest is quiet except for the soft rustle of leaves and the determined grunts of the infant. Over the next hour, the baby faces a series of small but significant challenges. It must figure out how to climb over a low branch, how to balance on uneven ground, how to untangle its foot from a creeping vine. Each time, Button remains nearby, sometimes grooming herself, sometimes simply watching, but never stepping in unless absolutely necessary. This restraint is not easy. There are moments when the baby's frustration is clear, tiny cries, anxious glances toward its mother. Yet Button's patience is unwavering. She knows that every struggle is a lesson, every minor victory a building block for future confidence. On one occasion, the infant becomes truly stuck, wedged between two roots and unable to free itself. Button finally rises, approaches with measured steps, and offers a gentle nudge. She does not lift the baby out or carry it away. Instead, she provides just enough help for the infant to wriggle free on its own, then steps back, allowing the lesson to continue. This is the essence of minimal intervention, to offer support only when the challenge exceeds the child's current abilities, and even then, to give only what is necessary for the child to regain agency. The impact of this approach is profound. Each time the baby overcomes an obstacle, no matter how small, it grows a little more confident. Its movements become surer, its curiosity bolder. The forest, once a daunting maze, becomes a playground of possibilities. Button's method teaches her infant that setbacks are not disasters, but opportunities to learn. Her presence is a safety net, but not a crutch. The baby learns that it is expected to try, to fail, and to try again, knowing that its mother trusts in its ability to succeed. This careful balance between challenge and support is what nurtures true independence. The baby's attachment to Button is secure, not because she solves every problem, but because she empowers her child to solve them for itself. In the end, Button's wisdom lies in her restraint. She understands that the greatest gift a parent can give is not constant rescue, but the dignity of struggle and the joy of self-earned success. In the quiet spaces between intervention and independence, her baby discovers its own strength, and that is where real growth begins. Beyond the direct lessons in walking and endurance, Button's infant is immersed in a world of constant observation, absorbing knowledge from every movement, gesture, and interaction its mother makes. Each day, the forest becomes a living classroom, and Button is both teacher and guide. Monkeys are highly social and intelligent creatures, and much of their behavior is acquired through social learning. The troop is a bustling network of relationships, and Button's infant is always watching, learning the unspoken rules that govern daily life. Button leads her baby through the dense undergrowth, pausing to check for danger or to greet a familiar face. The infant mimics her cautious steps, learning to read the subtle cues in her posture and the warning calls of the troop. Food is a daily challenge, and Button's choices are closely scrutinized by her little one. She inspects fruits, cracks open tough shells, and sometimes rejects items that seem tempting but are unsafe. Each decision is a lesson in discernment. The infant's eyes rarely leave her, especially during mealtimes. It studies how she peels a fruit, how she tests a leaf, and how she shares or defends her food from others. These moments are packed with information about what is edible, what is dangerous, and how to handle competition. When Button finds a particularly prized treat, like a ripe mango or a fresh coconut, her infant watches her persistence, how she uses her hands, her teeth, and even nearby rocks to access the food. The baby learns that patience and ingenuity are often rewarded. Social skills are just as vital as foraging. The infant observes as Button navigates the complex web of troop relationships, greeting some monkeys with gentle touches, avoiding others with a wary glance, and sometimes asserting herself with a sharp bark. The troop's social structure is intricate, with established hierarchies and shifting alliances. Button's infant learns to recognize the dominant individuals, the playful juveniles, and the elders who command respect. Grooming is a daily ritual, and Button is both participant and teacher. She approaches a friend, carefully picking through fur, and her infant watches the exchange of trust and comfort. One afternoon, Button settles beside Elsa, another female in the troop. As she grooms Elsa, her infant sits close, absorbing the gentle rhythm of hands and the soft vocalizations that signal peace. Grooming is more than hygiene. It is a vital social currency. Through it, alliances are built, conflicts are soothed, and the group's harmony is maintained. The infant learns that these bonds are essential for survival. By watching her mother participate in these acts of care, the infant understands the importance of reciprocity and trust. It learns when to approach, when to retreat, and how to offer comfort to others. Button also models the importance of self-care. She finds quiet moments to eat alone, away from the bustle, showing her infant that tending to one's own needs is not selfish, but necessary. The infant learns to balance curiosity with caution, watching as Button inspects new foods and environments before engaging. Every foraging trip is a lesson in risk and reward. Even as she teaches, Button does not neglect her own well-being. She rests when needed, eats when hungry, and finds shade during the hottest hours, demonstrating resilience and adaptability. The baby, emboldened by her example, begins to forage nearby, testing leaves, nibbling on bark, and learning through trial and error. Button watches closely, ready to intervene if danger arises, but allows her infant the freedom to explore. Together, they move through the forest, the infant mirroring Button's actions, sniffing, tasting, and sometimes spitting out what doesn't taste right. Each shared meal is a step toward independence. These are passive lessons, but they are no less powerful than the active training in movement. The infant learns that survival is a blend of observation, imitation, and experience. Through this constant modeling, Button provides a holistic education, one that encompasses not just the physical skills of survival, but the emotional intelligence needed to thrive in a complex society. Her infant is learning not just how to move, but how to live, how to find food, avoid danger, and build relationships within the troop. It learns the subtle cues of social interaction, a glance that signals play, a gesture that warns of aggression, a touch that offers reassurance. It discovers the practical skills of finding and processing food, and the fundamental importance of community bonds. Button's every action is a lesson, whether she is actively teaching her baby to walk foraging for food or simply resting in the shade. Each moment is an opportunity for her infant to learn, adapt, and grow. She is a living example of a successful, well-adjusted adult macaque. By watching her, her infant is not just surviving, it is learning the blueprint for a rich, connected and resilient life in the wild. Button's parenting does not occur in a vacuum. It is woven into the rich and complex fabric of her family and the broader monkey troop. Each day, as the sun rises over the forest canopy, the troop stirs to life, a tapestry of relationships, routines and subtle negotiations. Button's family is at the heart of this world, her every move watched by curious eyes, both young and old. The presence of her second daughter, Babette, adds another layer to the newborn's education. Babette, with her bright eyes and nimble fingers, is both a student and a teacher. She shadows her mother, eager to learn, but also to participate in the care of her tiny sibling. The bond between the sisters is just beginning to form, shaped by Button's careful guidance. Button manages the interactions between her children with remarkable patience. She orchestrates their play, gently intervening when Babette's enthusiasm threatens to overwhelm the fragile newborn. Through these moments, Button teaches not only the skills of survival, how to climb, forage and groom, but also the art of coexistence. She models gentleness, sharing and respect, lessons that will echo throughout her daughters' lives. Babette, already a product of Button's successful teaching methods, is curious about her new sibling but also respectful of her mother's authority. She often sits nearby, her posture attentive, waiting for a subtle nod or soft grunt from Button before approaching. This deference is not fear, but trust, a recognition of her mother's wisdom and the boundaries that keep the family safe. She is often seen observing the newborn's lessons from a close but respectful distance, waiting for a signal or permission from Button before approaching. Sometimes Babette will mimic her mother's actions, practicing the gentle touches and soft vocalizations that soothe the infant. These moments are quiet, almost sacred, as the rhythms of family life unfold beneath the watchful gaze of the troop. This guided interaction is a lesson in itself. Button is teaching Babette patience and the appropriate way to interact with a vulnerable infant. The older sister learns to temper her excitement, to approach slowly, to offer a leaf or a gentle pat instead of a boisterous leap. In turn, the newborn learns to trust, to recognize the scent and touch of her sibling, to feel safe in the presence of family. At the same time, the newborn is being socialized from its first days, learning to be comfortable around its older sibling. The baby's world is filled with the sounds of chattering monkeys, the rustle of leaves, and the occasional squabble among juveniles. Under Button's watchful eye, these early encounters are always gentle, always positive, laying the groundwork for a strong and supportive sibling bond. Button ensures that these early encounters are gentle and positive, laying the groundwork for a strong and supportive sibling bond. She might allow Babette to gently touch the baby or sit close by while it nurses, but always under her watchful eye. The family gathers in a tight circle, the older sibling's curiosity balanced by the mother's calm authority. This careful orchestration helps to integrate the new baby into the existing family unit smoothly and safely. The troop, meanwhile, provides a backdrop of activity and security. Other mothers groom their young, juveniles chase each other through the undergrowth, and elders watch from the branches above. The baby is exposed to the sights, sounds, and social dynamics of the group from day one. The wider troop also plays a role in the infant's upbringing, albeit a more passive one. The baby observes the complex web of relationships, alliances, rivalries, and friendships that define troop life. It sees how Button interacts with dominant males, other females, and juveniles, absorbing the unspoken rules of macaque society. While Button's primary focus is on fostering independence, she also ensures her infant understands its place within the larger community. She moves confidently through the troop, her calm demeanor communicating a sense of security to the baby. The infant learns that the group is a source of safety, not a threat, and that its family is both a haven and a bridge to the wider world. However, Button's main priority remains her direct lineage. Her focus on her own offspring is intense, and she carves out a space for their education, even within the bustling life of the troop. Sometimes she leads her daughters to a quiet spot at the edge of the group, where lessons can continue without interruption. She is a part of the group, but her family unit functions with a remarkable degree of autonomy. A small school with Button as the head teacher. The family dynamic she cultivates is one of respect, independence, and mutual support. Grooming sessions become moments of bonding. Playtime is a chance to practice new skills, and every day brings new opportunities for learning. Babette's capable presence is a testament to the system, and her gentle curiosity towards her new sibling promises a future where a new generation of strong, independent monkeys will continue Button's remarkable legacy. In the heart of the troop, surrounded by the ever-changing rhythms of forest life, Button's family thrives, bound by love, guided by wisdom, and shaped by the intricate dance of sibling dynamics and troop life. In the heart of the forest, Button and her newborn greet each day with a gentle awakening, the soft light filtering through the canopy above. The air is cool and filled with the subtle sounds of the jungle, birdsong, the distant calls of other monkeys, and the rustle of leaves as the family stirs from their slumber. Button's day is not random, but a carefully orchestrated cycle, a dance of learning and rest that shapes her infant's world. The morning begins with a burst of activity. Button encourages her baby to stretch, to flex tiny fingers and toes, and to greet the world with curiosity. The first lessons are gentle, simple movements, playful nudges, and the encouragement to explore the immediate surroundings. These are not just games, but the first steps in a lifelong journey of learning. As the sun rises higher, Button initiates the first walking lesson. The infant, still unsteady, clings to her fur before daring to let go. Each attempt is met with patience. Button hovers close, her eyes attentive, her hands ready to catch or guide. The baby's wobbly steps are celebrated with soft vocalizations and gentle touches, reinforcing every small success. These sessions are demanding, pushing the infant to the edge of its abilities. The baby stumbles, sometimes falling, but Button's presence is unwavering. She offers encouragement, never frustration, and the lesson continues until the little one's energy wanes. The environment itself is a living classroom. The forest floor is uneven, scattered with roots, rocks, and fallen leaves. Button leads her baby through these obstacles, teaching it to adapt to the ever-changing terrain. Each new challenge, a slippery log, a patch of tangled vines, becomes an opportunity for growth. Interwoven with these lessons are moments of deep connection. Button pauses to groom her baby, running her fingers through its fur, removing debris and soothing any anxieties. These quiet intervals are as important as the lessons themselves, reinforcing the bond between mother and child. After a period of hard work, Button rewards her diligent student with a nursing session. The baby nestles close, drawing nourishment and comfort, its tiny hands kneading gently as it feeds. This is a time of peace, a pause in the day's challenges, where the world narrows to the warmth and safety of the mother's embrace. This cycle, effort, reward, and rest, repeats throughout the day. Each lesson is followed by a period of recovery, allowing the baby to process what it has learned and regain its strength. Sometimes Button leads her baby to the riverbank, where the sand shifts beneath their feet. Here the infant learns to balance on the unstable ground, its movements tentative at first, then more confident. Afterward they rest in the shade, the baby's breathing slowing as it drifts into a brief nap. The lessons continue, climbing over roots, observing the social dynamics of the group, learning when to approach and when to watch from a distance. Button is always nearby, guiding with subtle cues, her attention never wavering. She is the conductor of this daily symphony, managing her infant's energy, motivation, and curiosity with remarkable intuition. Button knows when to push her baby to try something new and when to allow for quiet observation. She senses when her child is ready for a challenge and when it needs the comfort of her presence. This structured rhythm creates a world that is both predictable and full of discovery. The baby learns that effort is rewarded, that struggle leads to strength, and that comfort is always close at hand. Every obstacle overcome is met with reassurance, every effort acknowledged with affection. The rules are clear, and the baby grows more confident with each passing hour. As the sun dips low, the golden light bathes the forest in warmth. The pace of the day slows and the family gathers together, their bodies close, their movements gentle. The intensive lessons give way to a final period of calm. Button grooms her baby, the two of them nestled together, sharing a sense of peace that only comes after a day well spent. As dusk settles, Button offers one last feeding. The baby, now tired but content, drinks slowly, savoring the closeness and the warmth. This final moment of connection is quiet and profound, a gentle transition from the activity of the day to the stillness of night. The last meal is not just about nourishment, it is a ritual of reassurance, a promise that the mother's care endures even as darkness falls. In these quiet moments, the bond between mother and child is reaffirmed, stronger than ever after a day of shared challenges and triumphs. The family settles into their chosen resting place, high in the trees, where the air is cool and the world below feels distant and safe. Even as the baby drifts towards sleep, Button remains vigilant, her watchful eyes scanning the shadows, her body a shield against the unknown. The security of her presence is the foundation upon which all learning is built. The baby knows that no matter how far it roams, it can always return to the safety of its mother's arms. With the day's lessons complete, Button gathers her children, drawing them close as the forest darkens. Her older daughter, Babette, joins them, and together they prepare for the night's rest. Button leads her newborn and Babette high into the branches of a tall tree, seeking a safe perch far above the dangers of the forest floor. Here, nestled together, the family finds peace. The leaves rustle softly in the night breeze, and the world grows quiet. High above the ground they are safe from predators, sheltered by the embrace of the trees and each other. This final act of the day is a testament to Button's wisdom. She has taught her child to stand, to walk, to explore, but always within the circle of her protection. Each day she gives her baby the tools to grow strong and independent, yet never lets it forget the comfort of her embrace. As darkness falls, Button draws her baby close, wrapping it in warmth and security, a living promise that tomorrow will bring new lessons, new challenges, and new moments of love. In this delicate balance of nurturing and independence, Button ensures her baby grows not just strong, but confident and secure, ready to face the world, one day at a time. And so the cycle continues, each day a new chapter in the story of learning, love, and the wild beauty of the forest. As dawn breaks once more, Button's day unfolds with a new set of challenges, those of survival and sustenance. Foraging is not merely a task, it is a lesson in strategy, observation, and adaptability. With her newborn nestled close and Babette trailing behind, Button sets out into the dense undergrowth, her senses attuned to the subtle cues of the forest. She knows the landscape intimately, every bend in the river, every fruiting tree, and each patch of edible leaves is mapped in her mind. Button moves with purpose, scanning the canopy above for ripe figs and listening for the telltale rustle of insects beneath the bark. Her sharp eyes spot a cluster of berries high on a sunlit branch. With practiced agility, she leaps upward, her baby clinging tightly to her fur. Before feeding, Button inspects each berry, testing for ripeness with a gentle squeeze. She avoids those that are underripe or blemished, teaching her young to recognize the subtle differences between food and danger. This discernment is a vital skill, one that can mean the difference between nourishment and harm. Moving on, Button demonstrates another technique, digging beneath fallen leaves for hidden roots and tubers. Using her hands and sharp nails, she carefully uncovers edible morsels, pausing to show her children how to sniff out the best finds. Babette imitates her mother's movements, occasionally uncovering her own treasures while the newborn watches, absorbing every detail. The forest is rich, but not without its hazards. Button is ever watchful for signs of spoiled food or the presence of predators. She listens for alarm calls from other troop members and uses subtle vocalizations to communicate safety or caution to her children. When a troopmate signals the discovery of a fruit-laden tree, Button responds, guiding her family toward the bounty, but never rushing. She knows the importance of patience and timing, waiting until the dominant members have taken their share before approaching with her young. Throughout the day, Button's foraging is interspersed with lessons in resourcefulness. She shows Babette how to use twigs to extract insects from crevices and how to crack open tough nutshells with a well-placed strike against a rock. Each act is deliberate, a blend of instinct and experience passed down from one generation to the next. As the sun climbs higher, the family seeks shade, pausing to share their gathered food. Button distributes morsels to her children, ensuring each receives enough, but also encouraging Babette to share with her younger sibling. These moments of cooperation strengthen the bonds between them and reinforce the values of sharing and teamwork. By afternoon, Button's careful strategies have provided a diverse meal: fruits, leaves, insects, and roots. She has not only fed her family, but also given her children the tools they will need to one day feed themselves. Her resourcefulness is a quiet mastery woven into the fabric of daily life. As the shadows lengthen and the forest quiets, Button leads her family back to their resting place, bellies full and spirits content. The lessons of the day linger in the minds of her young, each foraging expedition a step toward independence. In the wild, every meal is a triumph of knowledge, patience, and maternal care, and Button's wisdom ensures her family thrives, one day and one discovery at a time. As the seasons shift and the forest changes, Button's young must face the world with growing independence. The playful days of mimicking their mother give way to new challenges, each one a test of their problem-solving abilities and adaptability. Babette, now more adventurous, ventures further from Button's side, drawn to the mysteries that the tangled undergrowth holds. A sudden rain transforms familiar paths into slippery obstacles. Babette pauses at a swollen stream, watching the swirling water. She hesitates, then observes a troopmate leaping onto a fallen branch to cross. Gathering her courage, Babette mimics the move, her limbs trembling but determined. She slips midway, but quickly grasps a vine, pulling herself to safety. The lesson is clear: adaptation means learning from mistakes and watching others closely. Elsewhere, the youngest sibling faces an unexpected dilemma: a tough-shelled nut, coveted but seemingly impenetrable. The little one tries biting, scratching, even dropping it from a low branch, but the shell remains intact. Frustrated, the youngster recalls Button's earlier demonstration. Scanning the ground, they find a flat stone, placing the nut atop it. With a hesitant but purposeful strike from another rock, the shell finally cracks, revealing the prized food within. The triumph is small, but the lesson is profound. Persistence and creativity win the day. As days pass, the siblings encounter new sources of food, some unfamiliar and potentially dangerous. Babette sniffs a brightly colored mushroom, recalling Button's warning calls. She backs away, choosing instead to dig for roots, her memory and instincts guiding her choices. Social challenges arise too. A playful scuffle over a patch of berries quickly escalates, testing the siblings' patience and negotiation skills. Babette pauses, remembering her mother's lessons in sharing. She offers a berry to her younger sibling, and the tension dissolves into laughter. Each day in the wild brings a fresh puzzle, navigating shifting weather, evading cunning predators, or deciphering the subtle cues of troop life. Through trial and error, observation, and cooperation, Button's young grow wiser and stronger. Their journey is marked by setbacks and small victories, shaping them into resilient survivors. As dusk settles and the forest hums with evening life, the young monkeys return to Button's side, tired but changed. The challenges of the wild have become their greatest teachers, forging skills and confidence they will carry into adulthood. In the heart of the jungle, the adventure of growing up is never easy, but with every challenge overcome, Button's legacy endures. As the wheel of the year turns, the jungle transforms, each season sculpting the world anew for Button and her troop. The lush rains of spring awaken a symphony of life, emerald leaves unfurl, flowers burst with color, and the air thrums with the calls of distant birds. Babette and her siblings explore the fresh undergrowth, discovering tender shoots and hidden insects. The abundance is a lesson in opportunity. Every branch and burrow teems with promise. But as the rains fade, the canopy thickens, shading the forest floor and slowing the pulse of growth. The monkeys must now search higher and wider for ripe fruit and nourishing leaves. Button leads her family along unfamiliar routes, her memory guiding them to secret groves where figs still hang sweet and plump. The young watch, learning to read the subtle clues, like the rustle of parakeets in a fruiting tree or the scent of sap carried on a warm breeze. Summer's heat brings new tests. Water pools shrink, and midday sun scorches the open clearings. The troop seeks refuge in the tangled shade, grooming and resting through the hottest hours. Babette mimics Button's patience, conserving her energy until the evening cool. When a sudden thunderstorm rolls in, the troop huddles beneath broad leaves, their bodies pressed close, sharing warmth and reassurance as rain drums overhead. Autumn arrives with golden light and a bounty of seeds and nuts. The monkeys become industrious, foraging from dawn until dusk, stashing food in hidden crevices and testing their skills against tough husks and shells. The youngest siblings play at gathering, their tiny hands clumsy but eager, while Babette perfects her technique with practiced strikes and clever leverage. Winter, when it comes, is quieter. The forest grows sparse, the air crisp and cool. Button's troop moves slowly, conserving strength and relying on the wisdom of past seasons. They revisit remembered caches, sharing what they find and huddling together for warmth as nights grow long. The young learn to listen to the rhythm of the earth, the promise that lean times will pass and new growth will return. Through each cycle, Button's family adapts, not just surviving, but thriving in a world of constant change. The seasons are their greatest teacher, shaping their instincts, habits, and bonds. In the ever-shifting jungle, every sunrise brings a new lesson, and every season a chance to grow wiser still. Dawn breaks with a chorus of chattering calls, and the forest stirs to life. For Babette and her siblings, the jungle is more than a home. It's a boundless playground, brimming with mysteries waiting to be unraveled. As Button watches from a shaded branch, the young monkeys scatter into the dappled light, their curiosity guiding every leap and tumble. Babette swings from vine to vine, her hands gripping with growing confidence. Each branch is a test. Some bend and spring, others snap with a warning crack. She learns to judge their strength, her senses sharpened by the thrill of the unknown. Her siblings follow, mimicking her daring moves, their laughter rising like bird song through the canopy. Play is their teacher now. A fallen log becomes a balance beam, wobbling beneath tiny feet. Babette teeters, tail outstretched for balance, before launching herself into a pile of moss with a triumphant squeal. Nearby, her brother invents a game of hide-and-seek among the ferns, darting through shafts of golden light as his sisters give chase. Each chase hones their agility, each tumble teaches them the art of falling soft. Above, a curious squirrel piques Babette's interest. She edges closer, watching its nimble hands pry open a stubborn nut. Inspired, she searches the undergrowth for her own prize, testing her problem-solving skills as she rolls, taps, and finally cracks open a shell. Success brings a rush of pride, and the attention of her siblings, eager to learn by imitation. Exploration weaves the troop together. The young share discoveries, an unusual beetle, a patch of sweet berries, chirping excitedly as they gather around. Sometimes a harmless snake slithers into view, and Button intervenes with a sharp call, teaching caution through experience. The lesson is clear. Curiosity is a gift, but wisdom keeps them safe. As the sun climbs higher, the games evolve. The troop invents contests. Who can leap the farthest? Who can hang upside down the longest? Who can spot the first ripe fig? Victories are celebrated with gentle nips and playful shoves, forging bonds that will last a lifetime. Even in their wildest play, the young monkeys are learning about gravity, about strength, about each other. By midday, the troop rests in a tangle of limbs and tails, the young nestled close to Button. Their dreams are filled with the morning's adventures, their minds busy stitching together the lessons of play and exploration. In the jungle's school, every romp is a rehearsal for survival, every game a step toward wisdom. Here, in the heart of the wild, curiosity is the spark that lights the path to mastery. Through play, Babette and her siblings not only discover the world, they discover themselves. Communication in the jungle is a symphony without words. Among the troop, every moment is woven with signals, some as loud as a warning bark, others as subtle as a flick of the tail. Babette, still young but ever observant, learns the art of conversation from her elders, guided by Button's every move. A sharp, chattering call echoes through the branches, Button's signal for caution. Instantly, the troop freezes, eyes wide, bodies pressed low against the bark. The call is brief, but its meaning is clear. Danger may be near. When the threat passes, Button releases a series of soft rhythmic grunts, and the group resumes its activities, tension melting away. Vocalizations are just the beginning. Babette studies the way her mother tilts her head or narrows her eyes, conveying reassurance or gentle reprimand without a single sound. A raised eyebrow, a quick glance, a brush of fur, all carry meaning in the language of the troop. When a sibling strays too far, Button extends her arm, palm up, a silent invitation to return. The young ones respond, bounding back with chirps of apology. Playful squeaks signal excitement during games, while a low hum from an older monkey soothes a frightened youngster. Grooming sessions become quiet conversations, fingers moving through fur, sharing comfort and trust. Even silence has its place. A hush falls when the troop senses an unfamiliar presence, each monkey reading the stillness as both question and answer. Social cues ripple through the group like a hidden current. A dominant female asserts her place with a gentle nudge, reminding others of the unspoken rules. The young learn to read these signals, adjusting their own behavior with each interaction. Through trial and imitation, Babette discovers when to press forward and when to yield, when to seek attention and when to blend in. In this world of subtle messages, every gesture matters. The language of the troop is ancient, shaped by survival and kinship. As Babette listens, watches, and mimics, she becomes fluent in the unspoken code that binds her family together. Here, in the leafy heart of the forest, communication is the invisible thread, connecting each monkey to the next, guiding them safely through the dance of daily life. As the sun filters through the emerald canopy, a quiet legacy unfurls beneath its golden rays. Button, the unconventional mother, has left more than just footprints on the forest floor. Her influence ripples through the troop, shaping not only her own children but the very fabric of their community. Babette, once a timid observer, now leads her siblings with quiet confidence, echoing her mother's patient guidance. The lessons Button taught, resilience, creativity, and compassion, are woven into the troop's daily rhythms. Youngsters mimic her resourceful foraging techniques, finding hidden fruits in unlikely places. Older monkeys trade tales of her clever problem-solving, passing stories from one generation to the next. Button's gentle authority has redefined what it means to lead. Her willingness to let the young stumble and recover, to allow curiosity its space, has fostered a troop that is more adaptable, more united. Her subtle signals and nurturing touch have become a blueprint for others, inspiring mothers across the troop to balance discipline with understanding. Even in moments of challenge, when predators prowl or storms lash the treetops, Button's legacy endures. The troop moves as one, guided by the silent wisdom she instilled. When a new mother hesitates, she recalls Button's calm in the face of uncertainty and finds her own strength. Seasons will pass, faces will change, but the echoes of Button's teachings linger in every branch leapt, every lesson shared. In the heart of the jungle, her legacy is not a monument, but a living, breathing testament, passed quietly from mother to child, from troop to future generations, ensuring that the story of one remarkable mother shapes the destiny of many.